Jesus did not have a physical body until he came to earth, because 1 Timothy 3:16 from the New Testament says, God was manifest in the flesh, referring to when Jesus came to earth. So he wasn't in a fleshly body until he came to earth the first time. However, here's an interesting story. Thousands of years before Jesus came to earth, there is this mysterious story about Jacob wrestling with a man. And I mean, this stuff is more serious than WWE because they wrestled all night. Let's take a look at it. This is from Genesis 32, verses 24 through 30. It says, And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, Wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. It's hard to believe that Jacob merely wrestled with the Spirit, because supposedly, before Jesus came to earth, he did not have a physical fleshly body, but he had a spiritual body. And it also says that Jacob saw God face to face. However, the Bible says no one has seen God the Father face to face and has lived. John 1:18 says, No man hath seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him. So nobody had seen God the Father face to face, but there was a lot of people that saw Jesus face to face, and Jesus Christ is God. So, maybe a theory, since Jacob was wrestling a physical man, and that Jacob said this man was God, and then the man himself said he was God, is it possible that Jesus time traveled back to this event and then returned back to the time of the New Testament after this took place? Kind of weird to think about, but it's just a thought. The reason I say it might be more of a theory, because perhaps spiritual beings can have some sort of physicality to them, or manifest some type of physicality. But in no way did Jacob think this was anything other than a man. Though a mysterious encounter, initially he just thought it was a man. And I've heard some people say that this was just an angel that Jacob wrestled with. So why, if he wrestled with an angel, the angel himself declared himself to be God, and Jacob recognized that this angel would be God, doesn't make sense, because angels do not declare divinity, and that would be blasphemous. Now think about this other theory. Jesus is being crucified on the cross, and he's dying, and there's two criminals with him as it's happening. One of them is repentant, and this repentant thief says to Jesus, Remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus tells him that he will be with him in paradise. Luke 23:43 says, And Jesus said unto him, Verily I say unto thee, today shalt thou be with me in paradise. But what's interesting about this, it implies that Jesus, that day that he's going to die, will be with that man in paradise. But Acts 2:31 says, He, seeing this before, spake of the resurrection of Christ, that his soul was not left in hell, neither his flesh did see corruption. This Jesus hath God raised up, whereof we are all witnesses. So, if he died that day, was he in paradise? Or was he in hell? Kind of confusing, right? I've heard a few theories on this. One, is it possible that Jesus went to hell for 3 days and 3 nights, then rose from the grave, then possibly at some point time traveled back, promising to be with that man in paradise, and then when he died, he was with that man in paradise? It's one thought. Haven't really heard it too much. Maybe it's because it's completely bogus. Another idea is it's some type of superposition like quantum physics. Because Jesus is God, he is divine, he can be in more than one place at the same time. He can be in hell and he can be in paradise. But perhaps the most popular theory on this is that there is a section of hell called Abraham's bosom, also called paradise, which is a whole nother video in itself to talk about that. But I would say of these three, that's probably the more popular one.